how his AI content will turn out. Either deadly. Find another streamers who embody the 7 deadly sins and their corresponding heavenly virtues, starting with gluttony versus temperance. Most people associate the sin of gluttony with eating copious amounts of food for pleasure, but it also represents an uncontrolled overindulgence in anything, such as alcohol, money, or even online clout. No other streamer best represents gluttony than Aiden Ross. With his addiction, alcohol consumption, and unsavory acts with OnlyFans models on stream, Aiden is constantly in pursuit for pleasure. On the flip side, Nick830 is a living embodiment of temperance, which is described as emotional restraint or self-control. Both are massively successful streamers, yet their behavior can't be any different. On most days, Aiden is either high on drunk with alcohol, or sometimes even hooked on harder. After meeting Andrew Tate in December of 2022 and getting inspired by his discipline, Aiden promised to turn his life around and abandon his unhealthy lifestyle. Because just a couple months prior to meeting him, Aiden genuinely felt lost in the world of streaming, so much so that he contemplated abandoning his career altogether. But Tate became Aiden's reason to keep pushing on, gradually progressing into a mentor figure for him.
Andrew! I love you. I mean, like, I love you. I love him, bro. I love him with all my heart. I missed you. You got bigger and you got stronger and sexier.
Everyone thought this was finally the time Aiden would change his ways. Unfortunately, this mindset only lasted a short while, and Aiden regressed back to his old habits of drinking and use. This was a massive disappointment to all of his fans who wanted to see Aiden live a better life. Aiden never fails to disappoint. Aiden is the best example of what you don't want to be in life. He's perfect for that. It's good that he exists so he can be set up as an example to show kids what you're not supposed to be in life. Even Andrew Tate himself called out Aiden on his lack of determination during a joint live stream.
I think you hold the record for making the most stupid life choice I have, me personally, Top G, ever been witness to hearing. Ever.
Wait.
Nobody on earth, nobody has told me a more stupid decision. I decided to stop going to the gym so I could focus on consuming. You are an idiot, Aiden.
In comparison though, Nick830 has always lived a healthy lifestyle that has inspired others to do better as well. For starters, he only eats homemade food in moderate proportions. This includes things like high-protein chicken with vitamin-rich spaghetti squash, vegetable-filled Vietnamese rice rolls, and even a birthday food in moderate proportions. This includes things like high-protein chicken with vitamin-rich spaghetti squash, vegetable-filled Vietnamese rice rolls, and even a birthday cake topped with healthy fruits. Nick also works out on a regular basis and has a pretty impressive physique to show for it. So it's quite clear that he's a beacon of positivity for his audience and the online gaming community in general. There are also dozens of clips of him inspiring his viewers through encouraging words.
No, never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Let's run!
Nick is a real one for this. Who knows, that kid might have not had any parents or anyone to turn to for support, and Nick might have changed his life around. Thanks, Nick. But that's not all. Another way Nick embodies temperance and restraint is with his attitude towards money. Despite having millions of viewers, he never flexes his wealth and chooses to live with his parents instead of some dripped out mansion down in LA. This again is arguably the complete opposite of Aiden, who has zero issues flaunting his money to his viewers.
I have $700,000 in cash right there. I got $700,000 in cash right there.
And instead of spreading positivity like Nick, Aiden went down a degenerate path after his breakup with his girlfriend Pammy. He began inviting OnlyFans models and adult film stars on streams, with his content often looking like this.
You ready? Alright, come on.
This relentless pursuit of pleasure has already left Aiden's content off limits for most of his younger fans, and it's not hard to imagine his growth completely halting in the near future. On the other hand, Nick830's positive attitude not only makes him a role model, but also proves fame can be earned without compromising morals. Speaking of which, there are only a handful of streamers who radiate tolerance and joy in the face of intense bullying like our next streamer. Patience is the ability to continue doing something despite setbacks or difficulties, or to suffer without complaining, and the streamer Queso exemplifies this trait better than anyone. Queso is one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, and while many people may not believe he embodies patience at first glance, there's a reason for that. He's an overweight guy, and his chat is constantly making fun of his weight on every opportunity.
What do you mean bro's built like a 1x1 Lego piece? What even is a 1x1 Lego piece? Yep, you're banned. Have a good night. Imagine being the biggest living creature on the earth. You don't have to imagine it, sadly. Yeah, you're banned.
This often takes him off, resulting in him expressing anger and quote banning the person who made the joke. But that's just it. It's all just a play, an act. Everything from his loud voice to animated expressions are all a part of his streaming persona. This was perfectly explained by his viewers when someone asked in Queso's subreddit reading, does Queso actually ban people when he says it? To which someone replied, no, it's just a joke lol. Another comment further clarified the situation. He only bans people when they say racist, sexist, or really offensive things, or when they straight up become a problem. Most of it is just for laughs. So despite being provoked poked by his chat so often and enduring constant fat shaming, he remains patient and lets his audience have their fun. Sure, he acts as though he's actually angry, but it's clear this show of anger is just to keep things entertaining. However, this behavior is in stark contrast with FouseyTube, a popular YouTuber and streamer whose career suffered from his intense anger issues. Fousey is one of the OGs of online content creation, who is known for his once popular public prank and social experiment videos. However, as the popularity of such content diminished, so did his mental stability. In 2017, he decided to take a year-long break and, upon returning, announced a fan meetup event that, in his own words, would rival Coachella. Unfortunately, this event turned disastrous when none of the promised artists made it to the event. And to make matters even worse, someone called in a causing the whole event to be cancelled. This led to Fousey's public breakdown in front of his fans.
Fousey is the biggest piece of shit, egotistical on this earth. I have bipolar and depression. That what you put into my head made me want to kill myself.
While many people meme this meltdown to hell and back,
I'm crying right now because I'm in fear.
others expressed genuine concern for his well-being. This actually made me genuinely concerned for his mental health. I hope he has good friends around him that prioritize his well-being over making money. Following this, Fousey stepped into the world of IRL streaming and vowed to broadcast every waking hour of his life. And while this was going well in the beginning, things started to once again break down as time went on, with Fousey having more and more mental breakdowns during his streams. In one instance, he even physically lashed out at another streamer. His situation reached a critical His situation reached a critical point when, after receiving death threats, he called 911 in distress, claiming someone had a gun to his head.
Send the cops. There's a gun to my head right now. There's a gun to my head. Oh, ma'am, he left. Ma'am, he left. There's a gun to my head. Help, get them, help, bye.
And when cops arrived, Fousey started yelling at them instead of clearly explaining the situation.
How do you want to look for him if you don't know where he's
I have his address. I said grab my security 20 minutes ago!
His lack of cooperation and erratic behavior led to the cops arresting him instead.
You guys are dumb as man. You guys are literally dumb as Oh, hey, record this! Security! Come in here now!
In contrast to Queso's controlled reactions, Fousey's inability to manage his anger and pride led to severe consequences, which ultimately impacted both his career and personal life. Though, if we're going to talk about being prideful, there's no streamer more fitting than Jack Doherty. The sin of pride is defined as an excessive love of one's own excellence. While having self-respect is important, thinking too highly of yourself can give you an arrogant and unlikable personality, which in many people's eyes is exactly what happened to Jack Doherty. On the flip side, Jinxie is a living example of humility, which is the heavenly virtue of staying humble regardless of your position in life. They're both massively successful young streamers, so what makes them so polar opposite in their approach to fame and influence? For Jack, the answer might lie in the fact that he's basically grown up on the internet. Jack began his online career on YouTube 7 years ago when he was just 13 years old. His channel blew up from the get-go, with one of his earlier videos receiving over 3.4 million views to date. This early success likely had a negative effect on the young boy's impressionable mind as he began chasing success and money at expense of those around him. Jack went from doing harmless and innocent pranks like trick-or-treating the day after Halloween
Trick or treat. I'm being a doctor.
to harassing people in public for views.
What? Well, bro, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
He kept pushing boundaries, going as far as doxing a Walmart employee for kicking him out after Jack trashed the store.
Put a picture on screen right here. His name is Donato.
To make matters worse, Jack also started bragging about his success and flexing his wealth on Twitter. This not only made him more unlikable, but also negatively impacted the reception of his content. The thing that makes Jack so obnoxious is that he has literally no redeeming qualities. Everything he does is either annoying or bragging. There is no respect or anything. If you asked AI to create the world's most punchable face, it would spit out this kid Jack. By comparison, the public has a much more favorable view of Jinxie thanks to his down-to-earth personality. Jinxie began his career as an energetic Rainbow Six Siege player, streaming on Twitch back in 2019, but his streaming career finally began to take off when he started posting clips of his streams on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. His high-octane personality immediately caught the viewers' attention and received millions of views. Jinxie also went from 13,000 live viewers in 2023, which was already quite impressive, to over 200,000 in 2024. Not only that, he even became the most subscribed channel on Twitch, surpassing the likes of XQC and Kaisanat. But despite reaching the top of the streaming world, Jinxie didn't become pretentious like Jack. He remained grounded and humble, and when asked about his enormous accomplishment, this is all he had to say.
Are you officially the #1 streamer on Twitch?
Right now, in the last like 2 months, yeah.
That's crazy.
How does that feel?
I mean, no different than
Pretty
being
humble, bro.
No different than being number 2 or number 3. It's just like,
No, it's not. It's completely different.
dude, I still wake up in the same bed. Like, I don't know, nothing changes after that.
As a comment on one of his videos pointed out, much respect for this kid having money and not letting it change his life. Even when Jinxie bought a new car, he didn't make a show of it online. He also chose a practical Honda instead of a flashy sports car like any other streamer in his position. To celebrate, he only made a simple post showing his gratitude to his viewers for the sport. This, unsurprisingly, is a polar opposite of Jack Doherty, who loves bragging about his Lamborghini purchases, and it's easy to see why. Because unlike Jack, Jinxie is not doing this to get filthy rich and famous. Instead, his main priority is his family and the time he gets to spend with them.
Dude, to me, family's all you really have in life. Like you can have like money or fame or whatever, but at the end of the day, all that really matters is like the people you truly care about. So like, dude, I'm 22, bro. Like I have my whole life to go off and live by